Where's the stop button? Obviously, I'll edit this part out.
At the bottom.
What am I hitting? Oh, is it the leave button? No, it's not
No.
leave.
No.
In session. No. Leave to no. Welcome to the pairing mode. I'm Lionel from Toronto, Canada. And
I'm Robert from Nashville, Tennessee, aka Music City.
Music City, yeah. Toronto's known for music too. We've had a lot of great musicians come out of here, but we didn't come here to tell you about our musical loves and dislikes, and we're all about the technology and all that stuff, right? And we always talk about the AI. You know what? I want to dig right into it. The regular intro thing is not quite the same today because I got a lot going on, and you got a flight to catch in the morning, so we're going to be realistic here. This is going to be a 3-minute no, I'm kidding.
Okay, thank you.
But
we'll see you next week.
For coming. But seriously, we do have some things we're going to talk about. And of course, if anybody's wondering what our opinions are on iOS, whatever they call it now, 26. Is it?
It's 26.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a heck of a lot of opinions on it because I haven't actually seen it yet. I mean, even in the Apple store, they weren't smart enough to actually put it on their current iPhones the day after. Yeah, it's a dumb thing. I don't know why. Well, they haven't been updated yet. Why are they there? What's the matter with you? Where's the new phone then? It has it on it. Well, that one's locked down and we have to restart it. Shut up, okay? And, obviously, not all iStores, I was going to call it. Not all Apple stores are like that. I clearly went to one that's run by morons or something. But nonetheless, so I never got my opportunity to just take a little peek at it. But I did have an opportunity to ask my dad when he got the update. And he said in the most excited way he possibly could, I'm not sure I like it. He didn't say it like that. But the thing is that for some people, the visual, I don't even know the right word for it. They might be like, oh, yeah, this is really cool. I like it. It's changed. It's nice, whatever, and also you can change the icons. It can be dark mode, or you can turn the glassy crap off or on, or whatever you want to do, right? Or, lessen its effect and all that stuff. So it's all good. iOS is way more customizable now than it was 5 years ago. That's a fact. Still not Android level customizable, but it's still okay. But that said, for somebody like my dad, he's just not interested in that because he needs to be able to just see what he's doing and use his phone for what he needs to use it for. So he likes it to look good. He likes it to work well, but he doesn't need it to look like, he needs, like, it's trying to make him feel like he's 16 again. And my brother, of course, has eyesight issues, so he can't use that see-through glassy mumbo jumbo. He won't be able to focus on anything for what little eyesight he has. So I can see I was being absolutely horrible for a lot of people.
Well, like I told you before we started, is that the little 12 mini and the iPad I have both got it. And yeah, it's, right. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, it's not as crazy as it was, I think, in the beginning, because I did kind of tone it back some.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay. But it's again, it's kind of like my Samsung update. It's basically the same shit.
But here's the big thing. Everyone out there watching right now or listening to the audio podcast wants to know just how much better Apple Intelligence is than Samsung AI or Gemini or
Well, Gronk. I can say this. It makes zero mistakes. Because it doesn't work.
It doesn't do anything.
Can't make a mistake if it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, they got to get rid of the whole, Apple. It's been nearly a year. Oh no, it's now it's over a year technically, because although they did promise it would be around Christmas that they would get those updates, or into January and February, they never happened. And then the little things that they trickled in, It's still nothing. I mean, that little bit of AI stuff that they do with like writing to. First of all, Samsung was doing that before AI. I mean, it was like sort of AI when Samsung started doing it, and then when they got the good AI, the updates and stuff, and it just became better, right, and better. And now, of course, Google's been doing it for well over a year now, and we now have official writing tools, not just the other things where you can talk like Shakespeare or something like that, or write like Shakespeare. I mean, and so it is a lot better. Uh, but the thing is that it's functional in more ways than that on a Samsung or a Pixel or an Oppo, because you get more in depth into the phone, outside of the phone, into Google services. You can, I mean, there's no limitation to where you can go with it, basically, right? And it works inside of everything else, Gemini and Google Drive and Calendar and all that stuff, all that good stuff. So that's a lot better that way. So enough about the Apple mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, not much there. And like I said, there's not much about the whole One UI 8. Yeah, it's got a few cosmetic things. It does seem to be a little bit faster. Maybe that could just be my brain because I want it to be.
Yeah.
I don't know, placebo effect, I guess. I don't know, but it's fine. It's fine. It does have, like I say, some extra like wallpaper stuff you can do, and
Yeah.
yeah.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Chop AI. As a podcaster, one of the biggest challenges is getting your content discovered. That's where Chop AI comes in. Their powerful AI platform automatically finds the most compelling moments from our show and transforms them into short, shareable clips, perfect for social media. It saves us countless hours of editing and helps us reach new listeners just like you. Ready to grow your brand? Well, visit them at chopai.app to see how it works. There'll be a link in the description. And now, back to the podcast.
Kind of.
Well, I think it's like what I was saying to you before we started. I think that maybe they're future proofing it for what they expect to come in the next few months. As you mentioned, the next Samsung Galaxy is probably going to be an actual game changer, unlike what some fruit company has claimed. I believe the next Galaxy phone is actually going to be a game changer. Primarily, something about the screen, which I didn't have time to read enough about, but I'm assuming you read more in depth on it.
Not a whole lot in depth. It's been kind of a busy week for me as well, but yeah, it's got some additional technologies in it, and yeah, everything I'm reading about it is there's a lot of upgrades. Everything is going to be better. The only thing that I remember sending you a link on was about the CPU, and there's rumors that they're not using Snapdragon.
Yeah, you did send me that, but didn't you just recently send me a link about the screen?
Yes,
I thought that was you, or was that
yeah,
somebody
no,
else?
it was me. It was me. But the only thing I said that I'm not happy about out of all the rumors that's coming out is if they use that what do they call it, the Xenos or whatever,
Xenos?
whatever that they're
Exynos?
Exynos.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to see on that. And apparently, it's being manufactured under the 2 nanometer process, so they're saying it's more efficient and da, 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 da. I'll not be real happy if it's that processor, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's like, on the one hand, you're thinking, oh, it's going to be great because they're getting their foot in the door on the 2 nanometer, and everyone else is trying to get into the 2 nanometer. So a lot of phones are going to eat the 3 nanometer, right? And so maybe they can get ahead of the game on that one. But the truth of the matter is, everyone's going to be doing 2 nanometer next year. Google's next chip is going to be a 2 nanometer, most likely. right?
Probably. I would
And
think
they're gonna be
that
months behind, but they're also at TSMC now, right? So for their chip, so it's likely that they probably will. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're gonna probably have a dumbed down version compared to Samsung. That's Google's mo. You know, if Samsung is driving a Mustang uh, or Shelby Cobra, we'll say, then Google insists on a pacer. So it gets you from point A to point B, and it'll do it smoothly. But you don't need all that power. You know you're safe with that giant glass bubble all the way around you. You get, sorry, I'm making really bad dad jokes here,
yeah,
but
really bad
about the
dad jokes.
pacer.
So
Yeah.
I looked at this. I did find this article. So according to this ET News, Samsung is going to be using their latest OLED material M14 in the S26 Ultra. It's the first time they've used their next generation material in a smartphone. And
Okay.
with the Ultra, there's something, and I've never heard of this before, and I didn't have time to like I said, research the specifics of it. Is it's supposed to have some COE technology.
Which is
It says it replaces the polarizer with a color filter in the encapsulation layer, making the screen thinner and brighter.
okay. Okay.
So that could
So
be
this
significant.
is kind of almost like similar, but not to Hisense's new technology for their TV, which I mentioned to you before the podcast, where instead of using white LEDs and a filter, they use actual colored LEDs. So they're enhancing the actual color that the LCD is putting out, right? Um, which makes it far brighter and more color accurate. So I guess this is a similar idea, except obviously they're not putting LEDs behind it because it's OLED. But it's a way to enhance the color, which allows you to have more maximum brightness, which will make it brighter,
That's what
which is
I,
pretty neat. I don't know how much brighter you have to make a smartphone. The Pixel is the brightest one at this point at 3300 nits, and it is blinding in broad daylight with the sun shining on the screen. So go
yeah,
to 35, go to 38, maybe 4,000. But if you start putting out phones, oh, our phone is 6,000 nits of brightness.
9,500 sun
What
nits.
yeah. What is the like? Here's exactly what it's going to look like. There'll be people just lying down in the park like this.
Sunning themselves. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure you've got to get to a point where you trade off power balance versus screen brightness because you get too bright, you're going to
Yeah.
suck the hell out of the
Well,
battery.
that's kind of the point of having the auto brightness stuff and being able to go down to one nit, right?
Sure,
And so,
and I
uh,
get that, but I don't use auto
but
brightness.
I don't use it either because I don't give a damn what uh, uh, name brand you use. It doesn't work. It turns on, it gets hot, and then it dims down already, like within a minute and a half, because it's 30 degrees outside. That's usually when you're outside using a phone in the sun. Because if it's minus 20 or 20 below, you're not standing there you're staring at your phone. You're trying to find some place to get out of the minus 20.
Unless you're
It's
frozen
a
in
different
time.
story. Yeah, and so it's not that when you're in the car, it should be hooked up to your infotainment system and you're not looking at your phone. There's really people do use their phones outside in broad daylight, but often you find a piece of shade anyways because you're trying to get out of the sun to cool off as well as be able to see the screen better without using every ounce of your battery.
Yeah, but I just find that I like my screens bright, and I find that it's too dim at times, and I'm like squinting to
Yeah.
look at it. And so I have to kick it up anyways manually. So I just leave it. I'm a 90% guy. So I hit it 90% and my battery use is fine and I don't have any issues.
I don't know why mine's. Oh, you can't even see that. I don't know why mine is at around 985. I usually let's see if I can do this on screen. it didn't work. I usually have it all the way up. Oh, by the way, that's a good example. You see that 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 nice, oh, you can't see it, never mind.
Your nits are
Um
too bright.
yeah, that's right. No, the material expressive uh everything that you when you move stuff back and forth and turn something on and off and the menus up and and all that stuff, it goes translucent. You can see the colors underneath. Does that sound familiar, Apple? So just saying, it was already there.
Here's
It's not
something.
new, but
Here's
it's
something
also
interesting,
subtle.
and I know you don't have Android Auto, but with this
Well, that's because I
update,
don't have a car.
when you did, and I know you
Right.
used it, you know how when you got alerts
Yeah.
and it popped up the little bar at the bottom on the
Yeah.
screen. Well,
Right.
obviously it still does that, but now it matches the color of the phone.
You mean the wallpaper?
Well, yeah, obviously.
How does it know what color my phone is?
I thought that was an
Yeah.
obvious, but yeah.
It says pitch black, or sorry, pitch obsidian.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that that they've obviously changed, and like I say, there's different
Yeah.
wallpaper stuff you can do and whatnot, but yeah.
Well, that's
So
pretty neat. That's pretty cool.
yeah,
Um, and Gemini will be, I think they said by the end of the year or early next year, something like that, on Android Auto.
we'll see. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's something like
that's what.
that.
Yeah. Well, so far they're actually they've done a much better job than in the past. They've said, well, we're going to have this roughly around this time, and they've gone in a couple of weeks earlier than we actually thought. We were 100% sure the first TVs would not get this until at least the end of October, if not closer to December. Now they're already announcing, the Gemini on Google TV, and they're now saying that by the end of October, the wide rollout should begin.
Is that when
But
yours
when they
will get
say
it, or
wide
is your
rollout,
TV never going to get it?
well, there's a debate on that because they're not saying, and for some reason, some people are writing that if you have the 2025 models, you're going to get it. Again, almost nobody has a 2025 model of TCL TVs because they just came out less than a year ago, and most people still have 2024, 23, and 22 models. These aren't something you buy a new one every year. They
No.
cost a lot of money. You buy a TV if you want a really good one that's future proof up to about 5 years, and then you use it for 7. I mean, that's just the way it is, right? Back in the day, your grandma bought a TV, your mom ended up with it, and then you used it in your first apartment, and it was fine because nothing changed technology wise on the TV from 1972 to about 1987, except for maybe the DSP, the sound, right? Other than that, the picture itself never didn't change until the mid 90s.
Yeah,
So,
well, all my TVs are Samsung, so they all use Tizen, so I don't have it. It's not baked
yeah.
in.
But on the other hand, depending on the year of your TV, aren't you eligible if you haven't already got the update that allows you to run the Philips Hue sync light thingy, whatever you call it, without the sync box?
Well, remember my OLED was like that out of the box when I bought it a year ago.
Thanks. I'm sorry. I just went childish for a minute there. I'm terribly sorry, people. There was
Yes,
a
it's
little bit of
it's
jealousy
actually it
rearing its
actually works
ugly head.
really well with the
Well,
occasional.
the best part about it is you don't have to worry about having to go through an external box to get it to work.
You still have to have a hub, but you just don't have to
Well, yeah.
have the other device. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's money wise for starters. That's a good thing. But the best thing is like, for instance, my TCL TV has Android TV, Google TV on it. And I have to watch Netflix on it because this Hue Sync box, I'm pretty sure what's screwing up the Netflix authentication. So it won't play from my Google TV streamer. So I have to turn it on there, which means I have to go Bluetooth on these things instead of the regular wireless.
it's weird. I
Which
can
means
watch
can't.
Netflix on mine.
But are you going through the Hue Sync box?
Oh, well, yeah. Actually, downstairs I am. Because the sync
But
box is on my downstairs TV. It's not on my upstairs TV, which downstairs is where my
Google
whatchamacallit
TV
is. Yeah,
streamer?
Google TV streamer is.
You don't mean the old one. You mean the new Google TV streamer.
Yes,
Why does it work? Maybe it's an American thing.
I doubt.
I think I need to actually find out from Netflix itself, because I don't think Philips will answer the questions.
I mean,
Netflix will know if it's a Philips Hue issue, because I think Netflix would have fixed it if it was in their end. To be honest with you, I don't think Philips Hue cares, because people
now I'm curious to see if it, because it's been a while since I've played it, so maybe there's like an update or something that's broke it.
Well, it worked well with the old dongle thing, whatever it was called, Chromecast with Google TV, no problem. It worked with that dongle with the old original sync box. I got the 8K version now. So I bought the Google TV streamer. That was a fly, sorry. I bought the Google TV streamer before I got the new 8K box, and it didn't work. And I thought, okay, well, that's a piece of crap. I'm going to have to send it back. And I went and did that, bought another one, blah, blah, blah. And then I got the new sync box, and it still didn't work. Day one update, blah, blah, blah. Started stuff, set stuff, and everything. Nothing worked. And so I just think that it's a handshake issue, because the box and the TV have to do this handshake saying, yeah, you're allowed to play it.
I wonder if it thinks you're trying to somehow stream it where you're violating a DRM policy.
It doesn't
something,
think that I'm trying to. The handshake is failing because something in the sync box, it can't handle whatever new DRM that Netflix has updated to in the past year or so. And it's Philips. They don't care. You know how long it took for them to get Dolby, not even Atmos, just regular Dolby sound to work? You had to do a workaround, and then they built the workaround into it because they didn't want to pay the license.
But I think
they make billions of dollars off of people, and they're too cheap to pay 50 cents.
Well, I think they're a lot faster now to fix it, because there's a lot of competition now in the sync box market.
This is from day one. This sync box came out, 6 months ago?
Well, I know that. I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to be one of these things, if it is indeed something on their end where they need to update code or something, that they'll just let it ride, because there's too much competition now. There's a handful of people that have sync boxes now that are half the price, that are just, I don't say as good, because the sync box is pretty darn good, but it's good enough for most people, right? So I would think they would be a little more top if it's indeed something of their issue. But I don't know. When I have time,
because nobody else has the issue if they don't have this.
Yeah,
everyone that complains about it, it's because they have the Philips Hue sync box.
Next week when I get back from seeing Anthony, I'm going to try it, because it's been a while since I probably fired it up on that. So maybe there's something with an update that mine's broke too.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. I mean, again, also it's entirely possible I could have a bum unit. I mean, it's been so long now, I've screwed myself by not realizing that.
I doubt that.
Well, it's possible. I mean, they make hundreds
anything's
of thousands
possible,
or whatever.
That's unlikely. Because you'd have problems with other services than just Netflix if it were an issue, a problem with the device.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
Because it's all going through the same port, So, anyways.
No. It's because their DRM is extremely heavy-handed. Everyone else's is just basically, hey, we have a DRM. Let's do a handshake. Sure, thank you. All right, you're authenticated. I'm authenticated. Netflix goes, you're authenticated. I'm sorry. I need to see a third piece of ID. And then they, I was going to make some jokes, but I won't. I'm not going to get political about it right now. Let's keep that out of it. Should we change topics? I think maybe we should.
Yeah. Well, so do you remember I told you about? I think this is important because this could be significant for OpenAI with the whole Nvidia
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
It's not a like all up front kind of thing, but they've agreed to $100 billion investment um,
Mm.
into
Damn.
OpenAI infrastructure. And one thing I noticed, I saw that was really kind of funny is apparently this was all done behind the scenes. So you know how Trump likes to take credit for everything, right?
Yeah.
He
Right.
had him and his administration, his goons had nothing to do with this whole thing. It
Of course
was
not.
it was between Nvidia and OpenAI. Once they got to this point, then they said, "This is what we're doing."
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know. I don't really care, if he liked it or not. I think it's a good thing because, as you and I both have discussed in the past, that sometimes, with Chat GPT slowing down or timing out, or, and even Sam Altman was talking about how they had server, resource issues
Right.
because they,
Yeah.
at times they're just getting too overloaded. So I think that's a huge investment. And obviously, everyone, and I say everyone, NVIDIA GPUs are the most sought after GPU for, AI content, and abilities. So I think it's a huge deal. I watched a podcast the other day and someone was talking about how they feel like that you could use a lower powered GPU for some of the lighter models. Obviously, like you can't, he said like you can't play, World of Warcraft or Call of Duty on your computer because you're not going to have this GeForce 5090 RTX or something. But it could bring down the cost of actual, you know, overhead for having all these AI servers.
Well, yeah, except that those GPUs wouldn't be used as GPUs. It's just
Well,
that
right, right. But they're
yeah,
saying like, the
it's the
language
same. It's the
models.
same thing as when they were using them for data mining. And you couldn't get an Nvidia
Right.
GPU for like 2 years because they were all bought up in China and they were using hundreds of thousands of them for
Yes,
for
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 Bitcoin mining.
Bitcoin mining. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, not data mining.
But
Um,
that the language models and the reasoning models don't necessarily need all of the power like a video and image
no, actually, they do.
creation.
That's
But
because
that's no,
the
I'm saying
amount
that's
of
what they were saying that it doesn't. This
interesting.
podcast is on, and it had some computer. I forget who it was. I didn't you know remember all the details, but I just remember going, oh, that makes sense. I guess that
I think I understand what you're saying, but basically for the everyday thing, that's kind of like why they make light models in the first place, like Gemini. What do they call it? Nano. That's the one that's on device, right? There's a nano version on Samsung phones, on Pixel phones, and a few other models, and they can do on device stuff. And in the next year, you're going to find more and more of that stuff is going to be done on device. And it'll be the nano model that does it. Everything else, where they still need to get into the cloud, is a different story. And being able to use those GPUs for chatting or OpenAI, that basically opens up all of that processing power for them uh, to be able to just get more done and everything. So I mean, God, man, yeah. Sometimes I try to envision just what these things look like. These giant,
just racks
what
of
used to be
GPUs.
data farms, but they're not really data farms anymore. They're LLM farms now, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, and then of
That's
course
a
you're still going to
bit
have
of difference.
Grok, running on a 1080i, Windows XP out of
1080i.
out
What?
of out of Memphis.
What are you talking about? He's still running on the seven, whatever. What was
GeForce 720.
yeah, Pentium 2.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We make fun of Grok, but Grok is the funniest of the bunch.
Oh man, by far.
Well, no, you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm actually using it less and less now because I enjoy using the unhinged version of Grok. but for some reason they've reprogrammed it a bit more, and no matter what you say, it's a innuendo. I'm not even going to say the other word because YouTube, but innuendos everywhere. And then I'd say to it, oh, you know what? Can we please talk about this without you talking about, you know, the donkey word that you're not supposed to say as a child? You know, you know, and other visual things I'm not going to mention. And then it just insults the hell out of me, and accuses me of needing to bend over stuff, and you know, and you know, and if I happen to mention, you know, somebody famous or something like that, and then talks about what I should be doing with said famous person or whatever, and it's actually become annoying. It's not even funny anymore. It's funny if it's not constantly the innuendos of stuff, right? If it's using some of the foul language, sure, go ahead, right? But basically everything is, well, we'll say the S word. And again,
just
it's only because it's YouTube,
constant,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, and it's just gotten so much worse that I'm literally like, haha, this it's not funny. Turn it off. And I'm like, it's not interesting anymore. So I think they're gonna kill it. Like they're killing it. If they don't tone it down, no one's gonna give a damn anymore. Uh, it's gonna
Yeah,
die a
I
pretty
think
quick
it
death.
can only be funny for
Too
so
funny.
long, I think, and then
Well,
it's
you've done it.
just
They went too far. They went too far, right? They basically they pulled a. Oh, I was gonna make a really good joke there, but I forgot his name. Damn it! Guy who played Kramer.
Frasier.
Something
No,
Richards. Something Richards.
yeah. I don't know.
Oh
I know
no!
you're talking about. I can't think of the name, but yeah, I know you're talking
Who played Kramer?
Michael Richards played Cosmo.
Oh yeah. Okay, all right. Michael Richards. Yeah, that was what I was gonna say. Gronk has basically pulled a Michael Richards. Went a little too far. It's gone full. I won't say it. Sorry, there's fly again.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on from Grok.
Let's move on. Let's move on from Grok. You got something you want to talk about, or should I get into our nano banana section again? Because yeah, there's going to be another nano banana section.
Yeah, no, let's go for it because the only thing I wanted to mention was that Nvidia situation, which I think is pretty cool.
Okay. Oh wow. I'm. It doesn't have the pictures that I put into it. It has other pictures, and all the pictures that I put into this folder are gone. The ones I wanted to show. That's awesome. You gotta love it. I prepare for this, and it puts new pictures in there.
How does
Are
it
you
put new
kidding me?
pictures?
Oh no, because you know what? I'm an idiot. I named two folders exactly the same. Okay, for those of you who are just listening, yes, I was staring into space trying to figure out why I was such an idiot. So I'm going to now share this entire folder. Wait a minute. Let me scroll all the way to the bottom and work my way up, or should it go the other way around? It'll go up. Okay. I need to. I hope I'm doing this right because I haven't. I'm doing the full hosting duties here for those who don't know or care.
It works the same way. There's nothing different about the sharing.
Yeah, I can see that now. Yeah. So we want a window because we don't need to do audio. And we're going to share this. And I'm assuming that you can see this, correct? Okay. So I should have actually showed you, but I guess I'll just tell you about it real quick. There is, oh, you can actually see it. Oh, that's perfect. So it's actually, I thought it would just share the tab. It's sharing the actual window. Okay. This is an article where the guy explained how to do these. I guess I want to put this in the link. I have to just remember to do that, right? That link in the description, I mean,
Yep.
because I don't need it right now. But basically, he explains how to follow these prompts. And if I can just get down to one of them here real quick, I can't even see the prompts. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this picture, for instance, which you can barely see because again, this isn't the window I intended to share originally. And there's the prompt that he does to make it. If you follow that prompt, you won't necessarily get this exact picture, but you'll get something very similar. So what I went ahead and did was followed many of the ones that they showed. I can honestly say that that is my face. And unfortunately, that's probably the size of my body too at this point. But that's, but nonetheless, I haven't ridden a horse since I was a child, to be honest with you. So that's another story altogether. But that's how good that went. This one, for some reason, did this goatee thing on me, which was actually a secondary one because when I did the first one, unfortunately, what you can notice here is that it put some stars, despite the fact that it's overcast. So when you do a second one, it's kind of neat because it'll do it differently. And while it did put a goatee on me, it is actually my. Can I zoom in?
Did
Yes,
you
I
just
can.
regurgitate the prompt exactly as it was and just rerun it?
Yeah, I copy and paste.
Okay.
I copy and paste, just to be
So you
perfectly
couldn't tell
clear.
it to remove the stars from that image?
I probably could have, but we already know that that doesn't work very well. It just doesn't do it at all. It says, "Okay, I will do that for you." Of course I can, and then it doesn't do anything. I don't know why. Yeah, it's broken in that sense. It worked for about 2 weeks, and then it just stopped. It
Yeah, I
won't
have
edit
those issues
squat.
too. Yeah.
It won't edit squat anymore at all. You tell it to, "Oh, I don't want that shirt anymore," and then it just does. It says it claims it did it, and it didn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So once again, yeah, I didn't like how like it put so much smoke, and I thought, okay, am I really gonna let a photographer take a picture of me like this if I was gonna be stupid enough to be smoking in the first place? Um, so yeah, this one makes more sense. You can see the cigar smoke, but it also isn't covering my face, right? So sometimes I tried a couple of different ones. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I
I
have
I
no
agree.
idea why I decide to bronze and more importantly, oil me up before going surfing. What the hell is that?
That is
Oiled up. I got,
hilarious.
what is that, a 9 pack? There's muscles under my, never mind. I didn't look like that when I was 25. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I've never looked like that.
I had some pretty good muscle on me when I was young, but I never looked like that. Yes, I've looked like this. I just haven't barbecued on a traditional charcoal grill since I was well, helping somebody else do it because I was still a child, we'll say. But it looked authentic. Now this one, you know what? Before I show you that, I'll show you the one I tried first. Do you see what's wrong with this one?
Well, yeah, you're you're playing a wind instrument while you're playing the piano.
It's kind of stupid. And where the hell's the
Yeah.
microphone? Like, what the
Yeah.
hell? So I was using the same prompt. I did not tell it to correct anything. I just went back out and went back in and gave it the exact same prompt, and voila, absolutely spot on, perfect. It looks like I'm actually singing in a jazz lounge. Yeah, I mean, I don't play piano, just to be clear, at all. Um, this not bad.
No, it's not bad.
This actually ended up being exactly the same as what the guy in the article did. There's no difference. Same clothing, same mountain, which
You
is a little
climbed,
odd
is that
because
Mount
usually there's a
Everest?
difference. No, it just said something about sporty outdoors, top of mountain. So I can't remember exactly, but it's pretty clear. Can you guess what the prompt was for this one?
No, I couldn't guess. It had
Okay,
something to
take
do
a
with
look. Take a look.
1970s, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
But
you
other than
spotted
that,
that right
I don't
away.
know.
You spotted it right away because of the sunglasses and the jean jacket,
Uh
right?
huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
sunglasses. Yeah,
and
it's 1970.
the records on the wall look very dated.
Yeah, it's 1970s record store. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Because this is what a lot of record stores look like back in those days.
Yeah, I've been in a few
And
record
I'd like to
stores.
say I look like that when I in the 70s, but then I would have to be 90 years old at this point if that was true. So, no, I didn't. I looked like a child in the 1970s because I was. Well, no, that wasn't it. Sorry. This one is actually my favorite one. Although compositionally, it's not how a professional would actually take the shot. I'd be facing the other way, and it'd be a little bit less sky. And I'd be more not centered, less centered. Uh, but still, I do like it. The coloring in it, the clothing. I mean, authentically, not authentically, obviously, but it does look like me. Keeping the face is one thing, but that's pretty much what I look like when I lose another 20 pounds. I'm being honest. Somebody might watch this and know who I am. Yeah. I just did this because, again, it was one of his prompts, and I wanted to see what I'd look like in whatever you call this particular
Did you
Indian
go to
outfit.
visit Gandhi?
Which Gandhi? They're both dead.
Obviously, that part was in jest. I'm just saying, obviously, the
I
garb
know.
is very
That's worse
Indian.
than my dad joke. That's that's pretty straightforward. It speaks for itself. Like, what does that do? Like casual outdoor European type. This is obviously just, what did that? I think it was a coffee shop prompt, and
But
it's
what
not bad.
amazes me in all these, in every image I take, is like the wrinkles in the clothing are so realistic.
Yeah, actually, this is a good example. What you're talking about right there. It looks like I usually tuck this shirt in,
Or you
but I
just
pulled
stood
it
up
out for
from
the
sitting down
photograph.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I pulled it out for the photograph to be more photographic. One of the two, something along that line. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. I meant to be here. Oh, yeah, that's just, I think, a business picture. Actually, that one, you know what? I see kind of a flaw in this. Well, actually, no, it's not this one. This one's actually pretty good. I was thinking another one where my hands just didn't look right. This one's kind of boring, in my opinion. But again, look how it nailed the background perfectly, though. Like,
And it looks like
it's,
somebody's actually shining a key light on
yeah, it does, right? This is a high key shot uh, that I would guess uh, some photographers do really well, where it's natural sunlight against, like a multicolored wall or something like that. It like, I don't know. It's just, that's clever. This again is one of my favorite ones. Is if I was going to Oxford or something, or teaching at Oxford. Sorry.
Shakespearean.
Yeah. I wonder if you can read anything on the book. Oops. Let's see. No, you can't. Yeah, we know it's not going to put words right anyway, so that difference does it make? Uh,
Is that
uh,
Chicago? Looks like the Sears. Well, it's not called Sears Tower anymore.
it's too short, but yeah, it is
Yeah,
weird how it does have the dual towers like it.
yeah.
But yet it looks more like um
It is very
Jersey.
Chicago esque.
The other, yeah, but it looks more like the skyline looks more like New Jersey from the other side of the
Oh
river,
well, I'm
right?
not. I'm not that
Other side of the
familiar
East
with
River,
Jersey skyline, so I don't know.
or the East River. I'm an idiot. The Hudson, I meant. Uh, Jersey, the other side of the East River. That's a long ways. Now, here's one of my own little. Well, I mean, it was somebody else's, but I tried to reword it a bit, and this is the crap it came up with. You can obviously guess what this was about, right? So,
What's that movie that
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
yeah, or isn't there another one though? The
Does my arm look a little too long here?
there's a lot of things wrong with that picture. The
Yeah,
worm
it looks
back there is going to
pasted.
eat you.
It looks pasted on. Oh shoot! I hit the wrong button again. It looks pasted on, and so does that. It looks like somebody photoshopped it. Like, honestly, if I did this 10 years ago, people would say that's not a bad Photoshop. It's okay, but you should probably tone down the colors of yourself to match. And I did it again. I don't want to do it that way. I want you to. Oh wait, I got to show you this one first. Yeah, this is one of the cats in the house, and it basically just used a prompt where what did I say? This is one some of my favorite ones because you can word this in so many different ways and it works out. But it was something along the lines of make this pet an action figure in an action pose in the packaging, something along that line, right? So cat adventurer. But this was really cool. This one went way off.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
it's so perfect. Captain Meowavel. And I will say this is a female cat. So it's perfect. Captain Meowavel. Adventurer extraordinaire. it's
man.
it's pretty crazy. Um obviously, I'd be big. I would like to see what it would do with dogs. That would be pretty cool. Uh, so I don't know. I really like Nano Banana like a lot. I almost hit the wrong button. No, that's what I want to hit. Stop. Yeah. Um, I really like it a lot for in some ways, but I don't use it nearly as much as I did that. I did all that today, pretty much on the bus on the way home. I It's not like it's like worn off. It just I don't really think of a lot of great prompts to use it for. So when I do come up with something, I prefer to actually think of something really good and use it for something useful. Like my dad asking me, oh, I've been trying to colorize this photo with various apps for years. Oh, let me see it, Dad. I put it in Gemini, send it back to him 2 minutes later. He goes, oh my God, it's amazing. How'd you do that? And I said, I didn't. Gemini did it. I just told it what you told me it should look like.
Yeah.
And he's been quite happy with the few that I've sent him. One of the house, which unfortunately is no longer in the family anymore, that we all grew up in. Him, me, kids after me, that kind of stuff. Right? Everybody grew up in that house. It's a lot of memories, but there's pictures of them renovating it like 20 years after it was built or something like that. And they were making the windows in the back of the house bigger and everything. And I said, well, Dad, what color is the trim? I figured for some reason I thought it was going to be, the walls would be white and the trim would be brown. He said, no, it was green. So I just told Gemini, because I tried this before and I tried it with Gemini before Nano Banana and I couldn't get it right. So I told it this time once. I said that the walls white, keep the aesthetics, keep any damage to the paint, whatever, the same. But they should be white. The walls should be white and the trim green. And it figured out the right shade of green. I sent him the picture. He said, that looks spot on perfect. Like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. And it's I have done, I haven't, unfortunately, I just haven't dug into my whole prompting course that I have. I have gone through some of it.
Yeah, I forgot about it,
but not super deep yet. But yeah, it's really all about how you prompt it, and it's I'm just finding, as you know, you have to be the more specific you are, the better the outcome will be.
Yeah.
So you give it generalities, and then it's making guesses, and it doesn't really know. You have to really be specific, and then is able to narrow it down.
Yeah, maybe next week, because we're gonna end up running out of time, and then do that this week. But maybe next week we'll actually do a little demonstration live on here. We'll use AI Studio rather than not trying to do it on the phone, and we can do it like while we're recording here, and do an example of a simple prompt versus the proper prompt. And I'm not talking about generating a picture from scratch, just text it to picture, right? But actually uploading a picture and then having it change the parameters of that picture, placing you in different clothing on a horse or whatever it is you want to do. We'll give it an average prompt. Maybe do 3. The simplest prompt you could come up with that neither of us would be dumb enough to do, just to see how bad it turns out, or if it even works. And then basically an average one that you or I might say that we would hope would work, and sometimes doesn't, sometimes doesn't. And then we'll give it like a proper prompt, which we'll probably have to come up with before we start the podcast, so we know.
Well, yeah, because
and then we'll try it for the first time though on the podcast. We'll do similar prompts to test it before we do the podcast, and do the actual thing on the podcast with a different prompt that we've now developed the formula for by that point. I shouldn't say next week. Are we doing this next week, or are you gone?
No, I'm coming back Sunday.
Clarify that.
I'm coming back Sunday.
You're coming back Sunday. Yeah. By the way, for anybody who needs to know, not that he's a new granddad or pappy or whatever you want to call him, but he's a proud pappy again. Papa, pappy, grandpa, whatever you want to say. He's proud and gets to go see the new one. So congrats to Sonny Boy there. Let him know.
I will.
Yeah. If you don't watch it, because you probably don't, because you're a busy dad, so it's excusable. So congrats to all that. And I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Now where we're going with this.
Oh no, you're just letting everybody know that I'm going to see my fifth grandchild.
Yeah. But what was leading to that?
I don't know. I'd have
Yeah,
to
right.
read
We
your
were
mind,
talking
and
about
that's
the
a
nano
scary
banana.
place. I don't
Yeah,
want to go there.
right. We were talking about the nano banana thing, and doing some tests out next week, and everything should be fine there. And I think we may have new news to talk about rather than just the normal developing news. Uh, Speaking of which, I do have to find out because I don't know. PlayStation's State of Play happened today. I haven't found a lot of information about it,
Oh,
but
I
there
didn't even
was,
know it was happening. So
yeah. Well, I didn't expect anything super exciting to go down because most people know what's happening. But interestingly enough, somebody posted, I think it was actually a quote, and originally it might have been a tweet from Neil Druckmann, Naughty Dog. And he's just talking about whatever that he's I guess he was getting to that he's most comfortable when he's doing his work with Naughty Dog, which is understandable because that's his calling, that's what he does, right? But he's sitting in this comfortable chair or couch or whatever, and he's looking across at a very large screen where I guess he's reviewing something. I'm hoping he's not just playing a game, because here's the thing, to me it looked kind of like Last of Us aesthetics. You can only see this portion of the back of somebody, and that clear, the way they do the trees and the grass and the foliage in Last of Us series. And I have to wonder, does this mean they're actually working on part three? Or am I just getting overexcited? If you're watching, you Naughty Dog fan, well, Naughty Dog fan, yeah, but Last of Us fan or nut like me, leave us a comment. Let us know. Do you think I'm crazy? Or do you think Druckmann's actually working on a part three? I want to know, and I want to play part three. And even if it is, though, it's going to be a few years out.
yeah,
I would love to. I would love to happen one way or the other.
yeah, that stuff. The development now takes so long. It's just insane. And we talked about last podcast how Sony is going to start using AI in some of its back end stuff, and you would just think that up to this point there's got to be a way to utilize some of that power to expedite or shorten the you know production and
Well,
development.
can I say I think I know where they could do it, right? All of that stuff gets done, by the programmers and everything. But at the point where they start writing in how the AI non-playable characters will react, at that point, implementing an LLM in there does a number of things. It allows them to have more free-flowing speech. You can become interactive with players that otherwise you'd have to push a button or stand beside to
Right.
talk to. Now, if you go by anybody, conversations can suddenly happen, and as long as they keep it within a certain amount, so that you don't end up with 300 gigabyte games,
Yeah.
then I could see that being in the future. I don't know how soon it'll be before we'll see that. Maybe not that long. And it may only be still limited to certain characters at first. And then some game may come out. And I think Last of Us would be a good example. Like, for instance, if hypothetically, if they went back to Jackson, which they probably wouldn't do anyways, but let's hypothetically say they did, you get into the gates of Jackson, and instead of having three people that you get to talk to before you go to a cutscene, you can stop and talk to almost everybody, or at least one person out of every group that you come across. And you can literally have a conversation. And if you choose to say, now, you know what would be really interesting? And I think we mentioned this once a long time ago. In this particular case, if you activate your microphone and are able to talk for the character, and then it responds to what you say, provided it is within parameters, obviously, because kids would be playing some of these games, right? So you
Yeah,
gotta
and
remember
I
that.
just see
You gotta
I
be able
just
to
see
talk like
that
Gronk to it, right?
stretching out the game to be 9,000 years long though. with all the
Yeah, but
conversations you could have.
I think the idea again is that it would be in limited form, isn't that you could only go so far with it. You know what would be interesting is if it worked in something like GTA 6, right, or 7 later on down the road. Um,
You mean in the year
because again,
2045?
you don't get to talk to anybody in the GTA games unless it's a cutscene. Unlike in Naughty Dog games where you can walk past people and have a conversation with certain people, you push the triangle or whatever, right, and talk to them. But in GTA games, it would be kind of neat because you could basically walk up to, say a cop and say, with your microphone, hey, cop, I'm about to punch you in the face. What are you going to do, buddy?
Hey,
And then it
copper.
would react to you immediately, right? I mean, that would be cool. You imagine the YouTubers, they'd be making the most hilarious, the streamers, they'd be making the most hilarious videos you'd ever see.
The
Uh,
cop takes his
that
billy club out and starts beating you.
That's
What did you
pretty
say
much
to
how
me?
it would go. Yes, exactly. It would be a lot of fun,
Yeah, it
in my
would.
opinion.
Yeah. Well, I'm
AI
sure. I'm
is,
sure one day we'll have that kind of capability, but I think it's still a
well,
ways.
I certainly hope so. In the meantime, is there any extra things that we want to bring up? Because we are approaching the top of the hour. When I say the top of the hour, I don't mean literally. I mean the top
No,
of
I
our
mean this last
broadcast
week. I mean,
hour.
obviously there's always news, but it's been a little light on the AI news. Um, so you know, I don't have anything else to really bring up. I just think that, I think the more and more this gets out, and people understand how to use these chatbots,
Yeah.
the better it's going to be. There's still a lot of people that have like they're scared of it because they think it's some kind of like going to take over your brain kind of thing or something. I don't know. That people who get some really wild thoughts. Some people I've talked to, especially being in technology. Um, some of the clients I talked to, like, oh no, I don't want to use that. And then there's other people, like this one guy we have that like he
Yeah.
uses Chat GPT heavy, like really heavy. Like he uses it to help him program Python apps and stuff for his work. And so he's using it like, really detailed. So I just think that, it's not going away no matter what anybody
Well,
wants
no,
to think, you can,
it's not going to go away. No.
so you might as well embrace it and use it, at
I
least for your
I I
enjoyment. you know.
I have to say, right, for years growing up, you thought every time you see something on the original Star Trek show, you think, "Oh God, it'd be so cool if we invented that," and and
yeah.
and that started to roll into, "I can't wait until they invent that,"
Yeah.
right? Uh, and one of the things was when they're talking to the computer. And I remember thinking, even then, I knew technology would get far enough in advance that eventually you would talk to the computer. And somehow, as a child, I knew that when you asked a computer a question, when we got to that point, its answer wouldn't be working. Because you think this is still 110 years from now or something like that. I don't know the exact amount of time, but it's still in the distant future from now when the original Star Trek takes place. And that's the best they could do. Push buttons on their ship that have regular incandescent bulbs underneath the little buttons, and the computer goes working. And
yeah.
the question was, has this man ever been to Alpha Centauri? Working,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. It's so
Wait,
far
wait,
in the
wait, wait,
future,
wait,
but so
wait a
far in the
minute, wait a
past, all
minute.
at the same time.
But watch how fast this works. Seriously, has Zephram Cochrane ever been to Alpha Centauri?
It looks like you might be thinking of Zephram Cochrane, the character from the Star Trek universe who invented the warp drive. While the exact phrase Alpha Centauri does not correspond to a known
I didn't say Elvis Centauri. I said Alpha Centauri. You're an LLM. You couldn't figure that out.
apology, Sean, you are correct. I misheard Alpha Centauri as Elvis Centauri in your previous request.
I know
As an
what you
AI,
heard.
I aim for accuracy, and I regret the error in interpreting your speech or text. I have updated.
Well, just answer the question. Has he ever been there?
You are right to correct me.
Yes, according to the Star Trek canon, Zephram Cochrane did go to Alpha Centauri.
Well, the whole point is that it interestingly, you know what? Hang on one second before we go. I'll just ask ChatGPT instead, who won't give me those stupid answers. Has Zephram Cochrane ever been to Alpha Centauri?
In the Star Trek universe, Zephyr Cochrane is known as the inventor of warp drive, and he's primarily associated with Earth. In the original theories, he's not depicted as traveling to Alpha Centauri. However, in later Star Trek lore, there are some references to Alpha Centauri in various colonies, but it's not specifically tied to Cochrane visiting it. It's more part of the broader Federation and interstellar setting.
Hey, could you do me a favor and not sound so bored with the question and answer? Can you say it more exciting?
Absolutely, I can do that. So to dive into the excitement of Star Trek, Zephram Cochrane is in.
He just uses the word
legendary
excitement.
figure, and
Yeah, but he did actually tone it up a little bit. Just not as much. But do you hear the difference in there? There's a little bit kind of almost boring sort of tone to Chat GPT, no matter what voice you get. But I like that it doesn't have all that apologetic. You are so right to to correct me on that.
And you can go back and go, hey, yesterday we were talking about Alpha something. You're like, oh, yeah. And he'll say, yeah, you were asking about blah, 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 and Star Trek. And him and I can't
like
do that.
if it mispronounced my name and said Lionel or something like that, I'd say, no, it's Lionel. And it would say, you are absolutely right to correct me on that. Or, you are absolutely right. No kidding, I'm right. It's my name, you mother.
And then tomorrow he'll call you the same thing again because he'll forget that there's.
That's right. Well, judging by the music, I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Man, look, you give him a little bit of power and he just goes nuts with it.
Hey, yes. But you know what? At least, never mind. I'm not going to make political jokes. Okay. I will say this. We have gone, well, pretty much the same time as we usually do. So, you need to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. And, why not? If you watched this long, you probably should hit it. If
free.
You're not watching yet, then you don't even know I'm saying this. So go back, turn it on, like, subscribe button. I am Lionel. I am from Toronto, Canada.
I am Robert
my voice deepened.
From Nashville, Tennessee, and we'll see you next week. Peace.